Hi, I'm John Anderson, North American Product Specialist for the 3D DISTO. Now let's take a look at a typical measuring application inside an office building to locate some doors and some wall planes. In order to do this, we're first going to set up our 3D DISTO, in this case on a tripod. We have powered it up by pressing the red button on top. The unit has self-leveled, and the green indicator light on the top shows me that it's ready to go. Additionally, I've powered on the control unit. It is booted up, and it is also ready to go. We've connected the two via the Wi-Fi signal. As we get started here, we're first going to measure the wall plane behind me and locate the door. In order to do this process, we're going to measure the four corners, and then when we're finished with that, locate the door. First, we're going to measure the points in the corners, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and lay out that wall plane. Once we have laid out the wall plane itself, then we will locate and position the door inside that wall plane. So we're going to tap on the File menu, Applications, and Room Scan. The first thing that's going to come up in Room Scan is enter and measure a reference height. In our case, we're going to leave the reference height or the benchmark as a 0 elevation, so I'm going to hit OK. Now the unit is going to prompt me with the symbol down in the bottom center for me to measure my 0 elevation. I'm going to drive the unit down to the floor. I can pick any point on the floor, or simply I'm down on the carpet on the floor in this office. I'm going to hit dist. We have now entered our benchmark elevation. The unit will prompt me. Do I want to repeat that in different areas or not? I'm going to hit OK because I do not want to repeat that. So now we're ready to measure. We're given our blank view screen. Again, we're in Room Scan software. I now need to activate the viewfinder. And we're in 1 power zoom at this point. Now I'm going to use my hand quickly to come up and just get close by manually moving the 3D DISTO. Tap on the screen to get the unit located down at the bottom corner. And if I zoom in on it, you can see we're right down there at the bottom corner. Now we're ready to locate and measure the first position. So we're going to hit the dist button. And our first point has now come into view. Now we're going to work our way up and clockwise around this wall plane. I'm going to zoom out. We're going to drive the unit up. Oops, we went a little too high. We got carried away. Drag it down, a little smaller arrow so it goes slower, until I can start to see the top corner of the wall. Tap on the screen to move the unit. The unit has now moved in. I can visually take a look and see that the red dot is very, very close. It does need to move to the right just a little bit. To do that, I'm going to tap on the right arrow key. Now visually looking at it, I can see that the red dot is in the corner, which is being confirmed by my view screen. We're going to hit the dist button. Take our second shot. Now what you're going to notice here is point 2 has dropped in on top of point 1. That's because we're still in a top-down view. In a minute, we're going to show you how to unfold and look at this wall front on. But for right now, we're going to enter our 2 additional points. So to drop in our 2 additional points, I'm going to lock our view screen on so we don't go back to that other menu by tapping the view screen button twice. Now I've got a lock symbol in the view screen. We're going to drive the unit to the right. I can see the red dot up in the corner. I can zoom in a little bit. Tap to get it close. Visually, I can look up and see that the red dot is positioned exactly in the corner, as confirmed by the crosshairs. Let's take that shot by hitting the red dist button. We have 1 more point to do, so I'm going to zoom out. Drive the unit down to the floor, hold on the center for a second until I get the red dot, drive it down slowly. I can watch the red dot as it travels down the wall or look at the view screen. I can see the red dot needs to come down just a little bit more. As now it is located exactly in the corner. We're going to take our last shot. We've now got all four corners of that wall plane laid out. We're going to unlock our view screen to go back to our measured results view, and you're going to see I've got a straight line on top. Again, this is a top-down view, so point 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are overlaid on top of themselves. In order to see this view now in a front-on view, we're going to have this line selected, which is a horizontal line, and the second button down on the right-hand side is the unfold button. So we're going to go ahead and tap unfold. You will now see in my view screen that I've got a front-on view of that wall plane. Lastly, we need to locate the door in that wall plane. Now, if I was in the fold-up view, again, like we were a second ago, it's very difficult to locate a door in that plane because it's hard to see what we're doing. So we're going to leave it unfolded and now locate that door in this wall plane. We're going to activate our view screen. We're going to drive the unit to the left. Come down a little. And there's two measurement practices for locating doors and windows and objects that we want to put into a wall plane. The first way we can do this is we can measure all 4 points of the item, whether it's a door or a window or any other object on the wall. So we've got the bottom corner of the door. Let's hit dist. Now you'll see I've got a diagonal line from that last point up there, which is point 3, to our new point down here, which is point 5. We don't want a new line segment from the last point to the new point. So we're going to drop over to screen 2, and there's a scissors with a cut symbol. We're going to hit that symbol. They're going to take that line segment out. So now down in the bottom left corner, I've got point 5 all by itself. Now let's go ahead and do the balance of the door. We're now going to drive the unit up. A little high. Let's drop it back down by tapping on the screen. I can visually look up and see a couple little taps with the fine-tuning arrow keys. I'm up at the top corner of the door. Let's take that shot. Now you'll see we're going to get our vertical line segment representing the left-hand side of the door. Activate the view screen again. I'm just going to tap twice to move the unit over to the left, once to get it halfway, once to get it to that opposite corner. And again, I'm very, very close by just tapping on it. We can fine-tune with our arrow keys, get it exactly where we want it to be. Go ahead and hit the dist button. You'll see the next line segment will drop in. Now I need to do one more at the bottom corner. Let's go ahead and hit the view screen again. Drive the unit straight down to the floor. I can visually see and look at the crosshairs on the unit. Then I need to just move down a little, move to the right, just one tap. We're down at the bottom corner of the door. Hit the dist button. Now we've located the door in that wall plane. You'll see that there's a bottom dashed line across the bottom of that box that we've just created representing our door. If we want to close that door up and have all 4 sides enclosed, we can go ahead and hit the close box symbol, which is the third one down on the right-hand side, and we've now closed up that entire door segment. So now we've located an initial door and the wall on that particular plane.
That looks really good. Okay, roll.
The second way to locate an object in a wall plane allows me to use a quick shortcut that's built into the unit. What I've done is I've aimed the laser down at the bottom left corner of our door. We're going to take a shot to the bottom left corner of the door, and we can visually look at it here with our view screen. Bottom left corner. Let's take the measurement shot. So we've now done the bottom left corner. Again, the software wants to create a new line segment from the last point to the new point. So we're going to delete that segment quickly. Now the shortcut to locate something rectangular or square allows me to activate the view screen, and instead of measuring all 4 corners of this door, we're going to go up and measure the opposite right-hand corner. So we're going to drive the drive the 3D DISTO up. to the opposite corner of the door. Oh, we got carried away again. Bring it down. There's our top corner of our door. Need to bump over to the right just a hair. Let's take that shot. Now the software is going to ask us, we want to transform that into a rectangle. In order to do that, we're going to hold on our line, and we're going to hit yes, transform into rectangle. Now you'll see that we've located that door in that wall plane by simply taking 2 opposite points versus measuring all 4 points.
Okay. Okay.
Now that we've laid out our initial wall plane, there's typically more wall planes or more wall surfaces that are in the office. So let's go ahead and add a second wall plane to our drawing. The first thing that we're going to do is start by working from this top right corner, which is point 3, because the new line segment that I want to draw, I'm going to extend from point 3 way down the wall to the other end to our new point that we're going to establish. So by selecting point 3, we're telling the software that the new line segment that we're going to now draw starts at point 3 and ends at the new point. If I selected point 4 is my new point, I would want to have a corresponding point on the other end of the new wall plane that would be at the floor location versus being up at the intersection of the ceiling and the wall. So again, we're going to select point 3. Now we're going to unfold our view again, or fold it back up to go to a top-down view. If you remember from earlier, you can now see top-down view. It's a little tricky to see where my door is located, but there's a point and there's a point for the door. There's the corner, and there's point 3. So now let's go ahead and locate the next point, which is on the next wall segment. Activate our view screen. Now you're going to see I've got the unit aimed down to the opposite end of this wall, and it's a pretty long wall. So you can see that my crosshairs are angled. My crosshairs are on the item, and I can visually take a look and see that the red dot is up in the corner. Additionally, we can zoom in, take a look. The lighting is not that great over there, but again, I can visually take a look and see where the red dot is. I can also pick up and walk to that location to visually see where the red dot is in the corner of that location. But I know it's there. I'm going to hit dist. Now you can see we've located our new point, point 13, which extended from point 3 down the new wall segment. Now we need to locate point 14, which is going to be directly below point 13 on the other part of that wall. Go ahead and activate our view screen. We're going to drive the unit down. Again, we got a little carried away and went too far. Drive the unit back up. We're about a foot up. We're coming down. Our corner's right down there. And again, due to the distance of this shot, I'm going to look more at the red dot on the wall versus looking at the screen. So I can see that I need to move it over to the left, a couple of taps on my fine-tuning key, and I need to drop down just a little bit by looking at the red dot on the wall. Once or twice more. So now I fine-tuned myself right into the corner. Go ahead and take that shot. Now you'll see I've got point 14. Point 14 is directly underneath point 13. If I tap on this line segment, I can now unfold the view and see my new segment from point 13, actually from point 3 at the beginning, over to point 13, and the new point, point 14. Now we need to locate some additional doors that are in this wall plane. To do that, we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to drive the unit back to the corner of a door, and we're going to do this the quick way by doing opposite corners. So let's locate our first door in this wall plane. I'm going to manually turn the unit to the left, zoom out a little bit, let's drive the unit down. I can see my red dot just a little low. I can see the red dot on the door, see the crosshairs in the view screen. To locate, take our first shot, Now, if you remember, the unit's going to want to draw a line from that last point to the new point. So we do need to go to screen 2, cut that point out. So now point 15 is a point all by itself. Go back to the bottom corner of the door with the view screen. We're now going to move the unit up to the top opposite right-hand corner so that we can use our shortcut feature to create a rectangle out of this door. So we're going to drive the unit up. We're very close, just a hair high, fine-tune it down, take the second shot. Now you'll see we've got a diagonal line that we've just created. We're going to hold the stylus on that line, transform into a rectangle. Yes, most certainly. Now we've located that door in that wall segment. We would do the exact same procedure to locate additional doors, windows, or other items of interest as we worked across that wall plane. If we unfold our section, I'm going to hit that top line again because I want to fold it back up. You can see that there's the first section that we had done earlier. Here's our second wall plane. Now it's pretty small because right now it's scaled so that everything fits into the view screen. I can select on that first wall segment that we had done at an earlier time, unfold on that, see the door located in that segment, fold it back up again, hit our new line segment and our new wall plane, unfold on that segment, and see the new door located in that segment. The last thing that we may want to do is drop in one new line representing the floor where the wall meets the floor. To do that, I can tap on the point 14, drag a new line from one side to the next. When that line turns solid, I can let go with my stylus. Oop, I missed it. Let's try it again. Hold on to the 1. Hold on to the first corner. Drag across to the opposite corner. Let it go. We've now dragged a new segment in there. You can also see that we got 2 line segments. I'm going to cut that segment out because we messed it up. And redraw our wall end on that end. And add that segment back in. So it's very easy to add and delete walls and line segments if we need to throughout the process. Additionally, you will see on the results screen on the top whatever wall segment that we have highlighted. We can then see all the measurement data about that particular segment. Now that we have completed laying out wall planes and locating doors inside those wall planes, you can see what a simple process it is with a 3D DISTO.